banking bailout slash takeover. Okay. So anyhow, about Alex Jones and his behavior at the RNC, it's really hurtful. And I hope he learned something from this, because that's got us stung a little bit. That things got so ugly in there, and it upsets people. I mean, I'm a regular listener to the show and on YouTube, and of course, I get to catch everything. I mean, I admire the heck out of some of the interviews, like the one, some of the reporters and another fella, maybe he's trying to be one of their reporters, good speaker, were out there, and they found Van Jones. So a couple of these reporters were having a lively debate with Van Jones, and I found that was very productive. That's the kind of stuff we need. You see, that's the kind of stuff Satan doesn't want. He doesn't want us to figure out that we are being divided intentionally, that we're much closer to being alike than we think. Like, let's take this very loaded word, socialism. Oh my God, I have never heard of a term more divisive. I mean, we've got to remember, give people a benefit of the doubt that they're just deceived. Okay, that's it. Whoever you're confronting, I mean, if it's the Turks, Young Turks, remember, beliefs are powerful. And when people actually believe lies, okay, and they're passionate about it, remember, they'll kill, they'll die for their beliefs, because that's the nature of beliefs. I mean, it's just like standing up for your principles. It's standing up for your dignity, and you're doing what a man has to do by standing up for your beliefs. So people can really believe what they believe, and at least we gotta think they do. I don't know. We don't have the wherewithal like God, to tell when somebody is actually being deceptive intentionally. Okay, and you could say, yeah, well, their fruits reach the high heavens. So, yeah, okay, well, you can be pretty sure maybe, but we can't condemn them. We don't have the power. We don't own somebody else. So we've got to be tactful. Okay, we're not going to go into the bank and kick over the tables like Jesus. Okay, nobody does that anymore. We've got to be divinely tactful. Through education, that's the light of truth. That's knowledge, that's wisdom, that's empowerment. And that's how we're going to do it. It's just that we get this mass of people, they can't get away with their deeds anymore. We make these politicians acquiesce to the will of the people and say, no, it's not your country. It belongs to the people. Okay, we've got to put them in their place. We've got to parent these idiots. But, we've really just got to point out the truth about stuff. And socialism, I mean, you could say, well, all the other examples, it was called socialism because that's what they wanted you to think. They didn't want you to think it was really fascism. Okay, that's what it is. When people are genocidal maniacs, I don't care where in the world they've done it, it's not what most people think of as socialism. They think it's fascism is what people got to get through their heads. When you're just a murderous gaggle of thugs running the people's lives, what kind of government is that? A socialist government? No. What most socialists I meet think, okay, what I know is in their head, okay, by knowing them as people, they're confusing socialism with egalitarianism. Okay, and if they're egalitarians, they're right. They're absolutely right. Okay, that's exactly the kind of world we would have if God was running our lives. Okay, that's the kind of world we would have. And the funny thing is that it sounds so bleeding heart liberal, but when you really study it, really research it, you find out that egalitarianism is fiscally sound. It's fiscally prudent. It's fiscally conservative. So, I got to hear it from everybody. I get people think, oh, you're not a bleeding heart liberal. And, another guy says, oh, you're, just a mad dog capitalist and you just care about the taxpayers and all this. No. But we forget so often that the cost of living is a tax. I think I'm going to get a bumper sticker made just to make sure people drill that in their head. And taxation without representation is against our Constitution. So, okay, you've got to have say-so. It can't just be your landlord arbitrarily raising your rent. You've got to have some give and take there. You've got to say, well, you know what, now you're at least a quasi-governmental agency since you're getting this huge sum of money from the federal government through Section 8. you become, at what point do you actually become accountable to the people? And you've got to say, you know what, we got to file for this because you're taking all this money. You got to go before the city council, the supervisors. You justify it, and don't say, well, because my mortgage is X amount. No, well, then get out of the business. Okay, if you're over your head, you shouldn't be in the business. Not everybody can be a landlord, can they? Okay, that's what landlords got to figure out. And tenants need to figure out too. This is a scam to divide. It happened here in California. Well, we've got a majority of residents that can only afford ever to rent. Okay, that's it. Their dreams have been dashed of home ownership thanks to the likes of Slick Willie, okay, through allowing that Glass-Steagall Act to expire. That's what caused that damn 2008 thing. Okay, that would have been capitalism, is to let those banksters fall on their faces and bust out their collective metaphorical teeth. That's what the American people wanted. 90+% of the American people wanted capitalism to work. And then these politicians, i.e. the government, didn't allow it to happen. They're the fault. They're the causers. They're responsible. We got to hold their feet to the fire. Okay? They're in cahoots. The Federal Reserve Bank and the politicians, again, the government, are in cahoots. They're collaborating. They're colluding against the best interests of the American people. And unless we attack that head on, nothing's going to change. We got to grab the bull by the horns. Okay, we got to tell them who's the boss here in America. It's we the people. After all, what is a nation composed of? It's not a bunch of real estate. It's about the people. There's nothing. I mean, if there's no people, there's no land, there's no nation. Nothing. Just a bunch of dirt and water and rocks and crap. It's we the people. That's what make a nation. We're the ones that are deciding this. And the level of tyranny we live under is going to be the level we tolerate. So we've all got to get that through our stupid little heads, you know, and really just give a damn about each other. That's what it comes down to. That's what love is. Loving your fellow man is just caring about him, wanting the best for people, not some of the people. You've got to think of all humanity as one big family. That is seeing things literally through God's eyes. If you do that and you live by the golden rule, you're assured to go to heaven. It's not hard to go to heaven. Whoever gives one of these little ones that loves me even a drink of cold water will not lose his reward. And what is that? As a metaphor for what? You know, talk things over with people. Let the Holy Spirit work for you, you know, through you, to correct people in a very tactful way that they can accept, not so they make sure they don't think that, you know, you're doing it to hurt their feelings, to offend them or anything, to insult them, but make sure you're coming from the right spirit, the spirit of truth. And you can comfort people that need comfort, that are ready to take their own lives. They feel so small. You can encourage people. You can counsel people when you let the Spirit work through you. And after all, isn't that what it's all about? And your destiny is assured. That's giving a drink of cold water as a metaphor is a beautiful thing. I mean, you know, it's just giving a damn. That's what loving your fellow man is. When you love your fellow man, you can be assured you've got approval from on high. You have a right, a privilege, and even an obligation to be happy. You know, say, you know what, this is my life, and I'm going to do what I want with my life. And I'm going to be who I want to be. I'm not going to be who the system wants me to be, a brute beast that's just going out there and just being a slave for the money masters and, you know, just making sure they stay in control. No, that's not what you want to do, folks. In the distance there, that's the famous boardwalk. Got the Coconut Grove right there where Alex Jones spoke October 25th, I think it was, 2010. Right there. Three more officers gunned down in cold-blooded murder. Folks, remember, without law and order, what do you have? You've got lawlessness and disorder. That's exactly what these monsters at the top want, okay? That's it. That's what they are. what it is, it's starting to rub off on all of us, and they know it. And it's just, we'll have the breakdown of society, utter anarchy, and it's not good. A lot of violence, something out of Clockwork Orange, Mad Max or something. Is that what we want? No, we want to get to the bottom of things. We want progress. But gunning down the law enforcement isn't going to help. It's not their fault that we have these social ills. Remember whose fault it is, and blame correctly. Judge. One last thing on immigration. What Alex Jones points out always is that it helps to keep wages low or lowers wages for people. But the bigger picture is that these evildoers, they, quote, are creating a clash of civilization, particularly with the refugees. But the other benefit they get from this unmitigated immigration is an artificial, unnatural demand on stuff. So, understand what's going on here in order to be able to withstand these people, because they know what they're doing, and they create the problem, like all these wars, these dubious wars in the Middle East, and then they come in as the saviors. Problem, reaction, solution. So, anyhow, have a great day, and we'll talk.